In a time where I'm actively forcing myself to go through extremely long single-player experiences, I've noticed that I've been effectively killing a part of myself. The part of myself that screams to play competitive games again. Worried that I would lose my edge, I picked up all the popular games to bring back the fire that once burned within me. But each time I found myself in each game, I've never felt truly connected to the competitive grind. All of the games felt the same. I understood that what I needed was something fresh, something different. Something like Omega Strikers. I picked up the game, and before I knew it, my competitive spirit was reignited. My intensity returned, and I was ready to compete. It was everything I needed, and the prominent feeling that appeared before me had been described in only 2 words. It was time. Time to go strike. With an opening animated by Studio Trigger, you know, the same people who've created these notable anime. Omega Strikers really outdid themselves in many categories by being so unique and special to the current competitive scene. Being received well by the players who play it both casually and competitively, this game has a lot to offer those who give it a shot. In this video, I'm going to be covering a lot about this game, ranging from the history of the developers, my overall experience with the game, and just generally expressing my love towards it. So get ready, because I'm about to tell you how this game struck my competitive core. But first, I want to start off with a little history. History is boring, yeah, I get it, I know, but trust me, this one is actually pretty interesting. Omega Strikers was a game that was created by Odyssey Interactive, a studio formed by previous Riot Games staff. They decided that with all the stuff that they learned from Riot, that they would take a chance to use that knowledge to create their own competitive experiences. Their aim was to make games in genres that, I quote, don't even really exist yet, all the while figuring out what it means to build games for the future generation of gamers. That's one of the coolest things I've ever heard. The hearts behind all the members collectively share the same beat when it comes to competitive climbing. It showed them a great sense of growth and purpose. So, with all their valuable time, burning passion, and an amazing sense of direction, they walked in with an idea, and well, the results have already been shown. With the team having several creators look into their game, consistently holding tournaments, and overall giving the players exactly what they want, they've gained quite an amazing audience for their game. It's honestly still baffling to me on how it took me this long to get to it despite its heavy prominence in my YouTube feed. But in the end, I'm glad that I jumped on it when I did. Its gameplay was like a breath of fresh air in this stagnating sphere of competitive games. And it does this in a legendary way by just its difference in gameplay. Tell me when it was the last time you played something competitively different that was soccer oriented. Probably Rocket League, but even that stood out among the other competitive games out there. Omega Strikers is a 3v3 footballer MOBA where you must fight in order to strike the core into the enemy's goal. You'll have to position carefully and slowly break down their goal barrier, all the while defending your goal and applying pressure through passing and each character's abilities to win the game. It's very team-oriented, so each member is extremely valuable and will need to put their all into their roles in order to secure the win. This is exactly what sets it different from any other competitive game out there. With this fun, almost party game-like gameplay, it's stylistically different from the ongoing competitive games. But it may get a little bit bland without any changes over the course of the game, so that's why they added in a very cool mechanic to switch things up. That's right, a gacha system! Okay, not actually a gacha system, but it's pretty close. After scoring 3 goals, it makes a set, and during this break, there will be a choice of 8 different awakenings. Awakenings are what could be compared to power-ups that can help push your character's abilities to their maximum potential. They have awakenings that can boost your speed, increase your size for increased hitboxes, and much more. Although not everything is going to be so easy. The picking process for the awakenings has a first come first serve basis where the highest performing player that set will get to choose first. So once someone selects an item, it becomes uh-oh, gone, bye-bye. What I like most about this system is that not only is it amazing to keep things fresh and brand new each set, but it also engages good performance for your team to enable them to get stronger. It also allows for people to be creative with their builds and experiment to figure out what works best for them and their character. I've personally enjoyed this gameplay loop that they've created because matches don't feel as much of a marathon that other games can feel like League of Legends. But honestly, I think that even though the gameplay has been impactful to my entire experience, there was another thing that captivated my interest even more so. And that specifically was the characters themselves. After pushing out several more hours and unlocking a few characters, I started to wonder about the story of this game. I started thinking about the characters I played and why they're participating in the Pro League tournament to begin with. So as I was browsing the menus, I eventually found out that each character has a bio, and I thought I'd look at the main girl Juliet's. I thought it was pretty good, so I decided to dedicate some time into reading some more bios. Before I knew it, I read every person's bio and got heavily invested in each one, except Zentaro's. I thought it was kind of lame. That might just be me though. Each character being so visually and conceptually different from their backgrounds is one that makes everyone so special. Seeing everyone's reason to be here, where they were, and what they've come to be has been one of the most interesting ways that I've spent my time in this game. You'll see backgrounds where they'll want to be the very best at their craft, ones where they're trying to discover themselves or prove their worth to the world, heck, even some with extremely tragic pasts or tragic people. This game really has a diverse cast on their belt, and what makes it even better was seeing mentions of other characters in other people's bios. It really added depth to each one of their lores and further enabled to learn more about who's teaming with who. I've genuinely had moments where I sat there and went, aha, that's why, piecing together the teams, and most notably it was with Team Maelstrom. That team right there has the most emotionally charged story that I've ever read in a game. Reading it just leaves you to wonder if they'll reach their desired end, the consequences that would follow with it, or just what's to come for their stories, and it just pulled the strings. I never thought that a game based around soccer air hockey would make me cry, yet here we are. I would highly urge anyone who's been playing the game or who is showing general interest to read into each character's stories, because honestly, they're all worthwhile and enjoyable. It'll also expand your horizons a little bit further about the cast, and who wouldn't love that? The characters are amazing, but I feel what truly added on the effect was not only the fact that their music is exceptional, but the fact that each character has their own hype theme. When I was told that this game's music was focused around EDM and techno, I was sold. I don't know what it is with EDM, but I promise you, you do not hear it often inside of video games. I think the last time that I've heard EDM in a game was probably Geometry Dash, but enough of that. What I'm getting at here is that the people at Odyssey Interactive picked the right genre for their game. EDM is such a versatile genre that allows it to fit each character's personality drastically. And what makes it much better is, do you remember what I said earlier about being the highest performing player in the set? Yeah, it plays their theme for everyone until someone else gets MVP. And dude, I'm so serious, some of these themes are so good, I'm just gonna showcase them because they're amazing. You have Kai's theme, where the beginning fits with his background as the next in line successor to his extensive line of professional strikers, almost like a fanfare. But then it breaks down into something different. One more befitting of his personality. One that of a new natural superstar. Or, you have Atlas's theme, where it's more orchestral and epic, fitting his story where it feels like he's further understanding the power of his inventions. Each goal, ability use, and strategies getting him one step closer to pulling his currently missing parents back from the past. Or you have Rune's theme, where it contains electric rock, aligning with his determination to bring back his friend who he accidentally sacrificed. And then as you listen, it distorts more and more and changes as you slowly remember that the bargain he made comes at the cost of his own essence being absorbed into the abyss. Even so, it builds back as he pursues forth, wishing to pull his friend back from Obscura at the cost of his own life. It's tragic, it's horrible, it hurts. Best theme, by the way. Other than those bangers, everyone else also has good ones too. But I wanted to focus on those ones because those are the main ones that solidified my love for this game's tracks. I would definitely say to listen to their music because there's most likely going to be something there that you will honestly like. And I would also love to hear which one comes out to be your favorite, so feel free to tell me which one stuck out to you. So, they've made an enjoyable game, created interesting character past, and has banging music. What else could tie this all together? Well, I think Odyssey Interactive figured it out, knowing their players and giving them exactly what they want. Huffing Copium, Giga Chad X, Poggers. Merging their characters with popular meme formats has been the opening factor to how I processed this game. When I saw Moist Critical's face appear in my match, I knew this game was on some good shit. They are very aware who their audience is and who they're marketing to, and it's amazing because it's the most creative thing I've ever seen from a game. This game is aimed towards competitive play, and typically the people viewing those categories are very familiar to a whole bunch of memes. So implementing that directly into the game was one of the best ideas I think I've ever seen. And it doesn't feel out of place because the emoticons share genuine traits and interests for the characters depicted in them. While there is downsides, as this is the only source of communication of expression in the game, it is the only one that makes sense for such a fast-paced game. You need to express and go, and for that, it really works. There is one small issue though. Their shop for the emoticons is a little broken, because all of this should not be paid. I want it. They honestly got a good market going on for the emoticons, and that genuinely is a thing I could see myself spending money on. Overall, they're aware about a whole bunch of current memes and actively make it known. A few days ago, they literally hopped on the Grimace Shake meme. They know their audience, and I'm super glad that they're paying good attention to who's supporting their game. Speaking of which, I heard there's this cool Sony salute emote that you get for engaging with the Omega Strikers community or by making content. With all the good that I've mentioned about this game and the developers behind it, there has been times where I've been down about this game. But for the most part, there's ways around the issues that I had. For an example, one time, I selected goalie and queued up for a game solo. For some reason, I had no clue why, but the Amy on my team ran over to the goalie post and kept trying to take my spot despite them being a forward. I couldn't tell if it was because they were running flex and just didn't know, but there's a really easy way to know if you're goalie just by the spawn position. But that was like one match out of the probably 300 plus that I've played. And there's also been a scenario where the maps can be abused if used properly. I've learned that we have to be aware of the maps that we were on because more often than not, some characters are going to be extremely more viable than others. Sometimes the goal barriers can be lost in one singular strike while another can take multiple. These things has to be taken account of and be learned to effectively be used into your master game plan. There's also an issue that I have with the practice mode, and that's because I feel that it's a little too lackluster. You can't access awakenings inside of it to gauge builds, nor can you change the map to practice with the hazards. I do realize that it can be used to test characters, but you won't get to know them at their true strength inside of it because of that. It would also be great to be able to reposition the core without having to hit it to practice skill shots with the core flip, and overall just make things a whole lot more methodical and trained. I also do believe that there should be some kind of emoticon mute for the reasons of distraction during gameplay. Update, they put it in. That's so cool. I love these people. And other than those things, I don't believe I have any other gripes. Any situation that I had with random players could be easily mitigated by talking to other people in their Discord and teaming up with them. Sure, it might be people of varying skill levels, but I'm sure that everybody inside of there is just trying to have fun in the end. In conclusion, there's a lot that I personally love about this game, and I'm super glad that I ran into it when I did. It truly reignited the dormant competitive spirit that lied within me, and I believe that it would do the same for anyone who feels the same bored with the competitive games that currently exist. I'm also on the lookout for anything more that comes of this game, and it would most likely be the lane that I keep up with both competitively and casually. I think that the developers did such an amazing job with this release, and I cannot wait to see what new game they'll create to shake up the genre and the competitive scene. Good job, Odyssey Interactive, you made an amazing game. I also wanted to take this time to say thank you to both my buddies, Gordo, EX, and Karn. These two grinded the mess out of this game with me, and it's been the most fun that I've had in a multiplayer game for a long time. Gordo's socials will be down in the description, so be sure to check out his content too. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. I spent not only a lot of time playing this game, stacking currently over 60 hours, but also creating this video, and I would really appreciate it. And as for the people working behind Omega Strikers, thanks.